to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary
in the meantime,
Podcast.
welcome. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on. Come on. Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Your song,
Come on.
your song,
Yeah.
just because you are. Your song, your song,
Woo.
believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in
Welcome
to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary
in the meantime,
Podcast.
welcome. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on. Come on. Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Your song,
Come on.
your song,
Yeah.
just because you are. Your song, your song,
Woo.
believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in
Welcome
to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Let's go.
We're up already, Joe. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you doing? We are so excited to have you today on our show. Another segment sponsored by State Farm. This is Fire Prevention Month. However, today we have a great session and it will talk about teen driving, how you can make them safe, how you can keep yourself safe, and how State Farm and how the Children's Hospital of Alabama, and also how the Tobacco and Drug Company and down in Alabama as well can help you all be safe. So I am Joetta. I am your host. I'm a 4-time Olympian. I'm an author, and I am in the New Jersey Hall of Fame. And I'm also a health and wellness and motivational achievement authority. I have my 5 Ps: have a purpose, get prepared, be patient, get perturbed, and persevere. I am not on this show alone. I have an amazing co-host in Tyrone. Tyrone is sitting over there looking dapper with his pink on for breast cancer
Awareness
month.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So there's Tyrone.
So here's my 5 F's. I go by these principles every day: faith, family, finance, fitness, and friends. And my 5 F's keep me, humble and safe throughout my daily routines.
And that's our story. We have our weights and our arms, but we talk about a lot of different things. We motivate you, we inspire you. And it's our goal on this show to make sure that you tune in to hear conversations with leading authorities, influencers, and people that will inspire you to reach your full potential. So at Be Extraordinary, that's what you are. And State Farm knows that as well. So as we say in the show, Be Extraordinary and State Farm, we are perfect together.
Yes.
So we have a lot to talk about. And as always, before we go any further, we just want to say how excited we are to be back in studio with Bizarre Creative. And this is a great place to talk to you and to talk about our show and to give you different ideas and things about what you can do in media, multimedia. He also can help you with web design, photos and videos. So if you're interested in that, please contact Bizarre Creative and he will help you bring your dreams to fruition.
And what number show is this for us already?
This is show number 23.
23.
23.
That's a lot of shows and a lot of good shows.
Yes.
Thank you, Joetta.
No, thank you. We put
So
this
for
together.
it to be the 23rd show
Mhm.
in the 3rd week of October,
Yes,
that's amazing.
that is
That's
amazing
extraordinary.
because we are extraordinary,
I
right?
just want to say,
Just wanted to say, okay.
you know, because I was out after number 2, but you know,
Yeah.
I hung in there.
Yeah, you were
I kept
struggling at
fighting.
1 and
I
2,
was fighting.
but you came through. So around 10, you start
Yeah.
getting your groove now.
Energy back up.
Energy's
Yes,
all
I'm
good.
good.
That's awesome. So look, we have also a slide from our music. We have a great jingle. It's from Chrissy B Productions, and we enjoy working with her. She's given us music for our jingle, the podcast, and she can give you jingles as well. Hear a little beat in the background. That's a little beat that she does. So thank you. If you want a jingle for your show or some beats, please contact Chrissy B, as
Chrissy
you would
B.
say. So here we go. We have a check-in. Now, this is really important. We know it's important for you, but for Tyrone, it's important too. So I know Tyrone has a Joe time
Why
check-in
is it that?
because you always have a Joe time check-in.
sure?
I am no doubt about it. What's your check-in?
So I have a check-in every day.
Every Wednesday for the Joe
No,
time
I'm talking about I have a check-in every
for
single
life?
day.
I'm sure you do.
Okay. I have a check-in every day. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
that.
okay, I don't
So
know.
just for the show, I also have a check-in.
Okay, an additional check-in.
Yes, additional check-in.
So what's the good
So
check-in today?
additional check-in is, first of all, thank everybody for showing up today through this 5:30 hour, and across the screen, everybody has different time frames. And the check-in for me today is that it's still fall, but it felt like a little summertime today. People, keep praying, keep putting everything you need to put in your system, and stay healthy. That's my check-in today, for everybody else to be healthy.
Well, that's good. That was usually is about
No,
yourself.
no, I'm good.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
I have a check-in as well. And we also say it is fall. So make sure you have all the negativity fall off of you. It's so important. If you're going to be extraordinary, you have extraordinary concepts, extraordinary thinking, surround yourself with extraordinary people. So that is my check-in. That's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing with you. And that's what I'm doing with my co-host
Yes.
Tyrone, checking in and being with extraordinary people. Boy, I got all that in, right? That's a lot.
Yes.
So here we go. We have a slide for you. Fire Safety Month. Tyrone, as you know, has been retired for 7 years. He fought fires in the city of Newark for 25 years. He has his helmet and there's a fire hydrant prop
Come on,
there.
a little
as
fire
well.
hydrant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to keep one. You know, I opened so many throughout the years. So,
So a fire
I
hydrant
decided
prop.
to shrink it and keep one.
Keep one in there. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. We don't have a little dog to go by there, right?
No, a Dalmatian.
A Dalmatian. So here we are. Watch this video. Okay, we're gonna have the fire video. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Kirby. I'm a captain with Regina Fire and Protective Services. This year for Fire Prevention Week, the theme is Know the Sounds of Fire Safety. The detectors you have in your home make very distinct sounds when they go into an alarm. A smoke detector will continuously make 3 beeps. This tells you that there's a fire or smoke in your house. If you're in a bedroom, you may need to check the door when you're leaving that room, but you need to get outside, call 911, and stay out of the home. A carbon monoxide detector will similarly go into alarm, but it will make 4 beeps continuously when it detects a hazard. This tells you that there's carbon monoxide in your house. You need to get outside, call 911, and stay outside. When these detectors have an old battery in them, they will make a single beep every 30 to 60 seconds. This tells you it's time to replace the battery. If you replace the battery and it still makes that sound, the device has reached the end of its life and needs to be replaced. Be sure to check your detectors once a month to make sure the batteries are good. For more information, go to nfpa.org or regina.ca/fire.
Well, that was a lot of good news there. I don't know how many people knew about that. We have our detectors in the house. We don't know what the sounds are like. We don't know when to change the batteries.
Yes. So a lot of times when we were installing brand new detectors in different homes and giving away detectors, we had to, explain that. A regular smoke detector would only do 3 beeps, but a carbon monoxide detector would do 4. And I mean, when we're knocked out at night and it goes off, the first thing we thinking that is carbon monoxide, and we jumping up and trying to run out the house. But now that people know 99% of the carbon monoxide detector is going to be 4 beeps.
Right.
So if you hear 3 beeps, a pause, and 3 more beeps, that's not carbon monoxide.
And that's the silent killer, right?
Yes, carbon monoxide is the silent killer.
Yeah, so I hope everyone has that in their home. If you don't, please invest in one. I think at the fire stations, don't they have access?
Yeah. Most of the time, community relations and different units are come and give you one free of charge.
Yeah, so make sure that's important. There's nothing more important than your safety. So if you have to
Yes.
spend a couple of bucks to be safe, that's worth doing.
Mhm.
So I'm going to have our next guest come on the show. His name is Jason Quinn from Pearl, Mississippi. So I'm going to read his bio, a little bit about himself. And then after I do that, he will grace the screen with his handsome face. Jason Quinn is a State Farm owner. He's down in Pearl, Mississippi. You have his information there. And he is a proud owner of a State Farm agency down in Pearl, Mississippi. He earned the privilege of being a State Farm agent in 2015. He says that being a State Farm agent is not a business you can just buy. It has to do, and you have to earn that, and it requires a serious passion. He said that he got his passion from seeing his father and his mother work really hard. His father worked hard in the mines, and his mother was a God-fearing mother, and they gave him purpose. And also now he believes that State Farm continues to help the community grow, and he is blessed to be part of a company that invests in the community. He is a proud graduate, magna cum laude at Jackson State University,
Yes,
HBCU,
Jackson State.
and with a degree in chemistry. And his office has been recognized by the 3-time Chairman Circle qualifier. And if you see that information there, and he's also a 3-time Senior Vice Club qualifier, and you see the level 3 ambassador level. So with that being said, Jason, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Thank you so much. The word is so kind. Tyrone, I also have a fire plug just like you.
I
Keep it
see
in a
you.
pencil. We have them throughout the office. That kind of was a deal for State Farm at one point. State Farm Fire and Casualty deal. So, that's kind of been a representative thing for fire plug.
Well, good. Well, there you go. But thank you for being part of the show, being an extraordinary podcast. And we're just going to hop right in because it is so very important. This show is talking about teens and driving and safety. So before you go on to behaviors, can you please talk about the importance of having insurance and what type of insurance you have for your teens?
Okay. Well, this week is actually National Teen Driver Safety Week from October the 17th to the 23rd. So timely that we have this. When this week and every week, parents should have a conversation with their teens about important rules they need to follow behind the wheel of a motor vehicle to address the dangers of alcohol, inconsistent, distracted driving. So as a State Farm agent, and in my bio, you said State Farm agent, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. State Farm hires agents in the capacity to serve. If you don't have a State Farm agent, you're missing out on the treat. But we have the capacity to serve, and being a State Farm agent, you actually have a hands-on approach with majority of customers. If not, you're gonna have a team that had a capacity. You just don't get lost in the shuffle of numbers.
Okay.
So go, Tyrone?
No, I'm hearing you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're here in Pasco to serve. So it is a privilege indeed to serve the community. One thing about teen driving, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for teens 15, 18 years old in the United States, the leading cause. In 2019, there were a little bit over 2,000, I think 2,042 people killed in crashes, which involved a teen, and 628 deaths were teen drivers. So, I mean, one is too many. What we do here at State Farm, we try to manage risk and take risk off the table. And the way we mitigate risk, of course, we have to help parents understand risk and communicate those risks as well.
So when a parent comes into your office, and for example, they came in initially and they only had insurance for themselves. Now they have a teen. So do you encourage them to get certain protections for the teens?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So, what a lot of people understand is that teens are very high risk. That they're a lot of parents kind of scared to say, well, you have a teen driver. That's the fear because they don't want to pay for it. But the thing is, if you don't have those coverages in place to protect you and your family's well-being, and something happens, you're going to pay more. You have to have a balance of understanding what you're paying for. And people, our job is to communicate these risks to parents as if they don't have this, how great the cost is. It is a small cost to pay up front, but the cost of not having it be way greater and could put you in financial peril for a long time.
Yes, and they have to understand that. I think you had and I know you've had State Farm for a long time.
Yes.
Did you have it on your daughter as well? Do you remember?
I have been with State Farm over 30 years. So a lot of times, I used to always wonder when you send your teen to school, off to college in a different state, they barely driving up here, and you want to go get them a car down there and put insurance on them down there. That has to be one of the, the scariest things, especially for me. My daughter went to University of Tennessee. So I just was happy that she ran track and field. I didn't have to get her a car the freshman year.
But can you explain to that? That's a very important. We have some parents that are the car in freshman year, but she got a sophomore year.
So what?
One thing we have at State Farm, we kind of mitigate some of those risks. We have programs in place where the parents have to participate as well for the teen, where we monitor the driving habits and they get rewarded with discounts as well. Also, so we have things like that in place. So we encourage it. So if you follow the program, we reward you, because insurance companies, they don't want to charge rates like that, but they understand the risk. They don't want to charge it. They understand the risk, and the risk has to match the rate.
Okay.
So you were talking about a driving test or something. You were talking about you monitor your driving at night and the amount of time you brake and things like that. I don't know the correct name for that. You said that.
Okay.
What is that called?
That's one program. One program is DSS, Drive Safe and Save. That's for adults and children.
Okay.
What it does is it uses telematics. It's a little beacon of technology. You talk with your phone through Bluetooth, and what it does, it monitors driver's characteristics, hard braking, speeding, abrupt stopping, and what it does, it grades you as a percentage. So we give you a discount up front. If you drive poorly, you lose the discount. We don't surcharge you and say, well, hey, we're gonna charge you more because you just driving like a bat. But what we do, we just say, hey, give us a discount back. And then you get a chance to earn it the next six months. You can earn it back again, but we just take the discount from you. But the discount will give you 10% for signing up, and you can get up to 30%, if you drive responsibly. And it just kind of encourages it, but it gives you a grade, and you kind of monitor it and gives you a report, and it kind of keeps you engaged, so you kind of know what you're doing.
So I know when the teens are out there, there's, my daughter started driving here, I think she was 15, and that was the age here. And so when you get the young driver, what is it that you tell them to deal with behaviors on the road? Can you speak to that for us, Jason?
Oh yeah, behaviors are that's everything. Behavior. So, of course, behaviors start with the parents. Parents that encourage good behaviors are going to have kids with good behaviors. Parents that don't encourage kids to have good behaviors, the kids are going to have bad behaviors. So, we have to get at the parents first. Let them know we have this program called Steer Clear, and what the program does, it actually monitors kids for the first 10 trips at least, and 5-hour module. They get just a 5-hour module to kind of run a module, and they have to kind of record their behaviors. They have to say, well, hey, put my seatbelt on. I check my mirrors, and they do a little survey, and we also reward you for that. But parents, as far as behaviors, teen driving behaviors are so important because something as small as that, conveying your kids and showing them the value of life. Life is precious, it's fragile, and they have to know that driving is a selfless act, not selfish, because it's others' lives at stake as well as yours. And once parents understand the risk, they can kind of let loose and kind of be confident with the kids. You're always going to worry about them, but you're creating lifelong driving habits. But this is something that's going to keep them safe for the rest of their lives. And also, as a parent, you have to be aware that kids are watching you, because a lot of them are going to do as you do. So you have to be mindful that you're under the gun and under the radar too. They watch you drive and fuss, and those behaviors and habits are passed along. They're adopted.
That's right.
It was funny I used to, somehow, I don't know how it happened, but somehow my car used to go kind of fast. I don't know myself. I don't know how that happened, because I would always drive.
A ghost in the vehicle, huh? Just a ghost in there, huh?
I don't know how it happened, but I made it when my daughter started to drive. I made a conscious decision to slow down. So one day she said, "Mommy, why are you going so slow?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So you're right; they are watching you, and now, when she started to be able to drive, the ghost disappeared that was in my car, and now I'm driving correctly, and I hope it wasn't too late. But you are right, they are watching you, they're paying attention to you, and it's really important as parents to understand the behaviors. And can you speak to the fact of, if there is an accident, how does a State Farm agent, how do you navigate the parents through that accident of a teen, be it if the teen caused it or was hit?
So good thing you said that. So what folks understand, it's great to have a State Farm agent, because when something bad happens, we're normally the 2 or 3 on the list. That means going to call the authorities, emergency services, or the fire department, and they're going to call us next. Hey, you call me insurance guy, because when something bad happens, we're on the top of the list. So what we normally do, of course, we actually give out little accident reports, and we tell them to keep those in the vehicle with them. And we try to prep kids on the front end, because so they can have some sense of it. But when something happens, of course, you panic. You don't know what happened. I mean, you forget everything. But we keep these accident deals in the car, and we try to role play with them and tell them, hey, if something happens, fill this out, call the police, write down everything you can remember, and have it on this little sheet, a guide, tell them we're creative, so because they're going to forget. And we basically just tell them, pretty much just keep that in the car, call the authorities, and then call us next. Call us next. And when they call us, we kind of walk them through, tell them to be okay, and just tell them to be okay. Now if they're banged up, you need to call 911. Now they know that. I mean, common sense kick in at some point.
Yes.
But drive, safe driving is just a level of respect. You have to respect the road, respect the authorities, respect thy neighbor. That's our motto, our creed, good neighbor. A lot of this comes from respect. And again, those habits are learned. One thing that most teens that we see now that cause accidents is distracted driving. Distracted driving is, and what happens is that, we're in a world now where everyone pushes information, social media. I mean, your phone is steady dinging, notification. Well, all this information being pushed is really useless information. It's not worth your life. So we tell them that this is useless information being pushed. Whoever's pushing information has an agenda, and it's for their benefit, not for yours.
Yes.
We have those conversations with teens and let them know, hey, it's not worth it. It can wait. Something as simple as parents getting in front of it and making sure their kids leave punctuality. Hey, leave the house early. If you know they're, taking time, leave the home early, because they're going to be friends in a rush, and so they won't have to speed. So as a parent, you have to whip them to the shape and get them to practice these things.
Okay. Well, Jason, this segment went by really fast, and you have a lot of information. Could you please make sure you put your contact information in the chat? And if you had a takeaway that you would like to leave the audience with, the parents and the kids that are listening, what would that be?
Well, I like the title of the show, Be Extraordinary. Teach your kids to be extraordinary. Don't be regular, be extraordinary. I love the title of your show. One of the things we reward kids for, we reward them for good grades. You
Oh,
know, if you got a B average or better, you
Mhm.
know, you get a discount for that.
Yes.
Parents should demand excellence. Demand excellence from the kids. Demand excellence, and you'll get rewarded. We have a lot of different discounts available at State Farm because we want to keep the rates low. But we have to match rates to risk, and if you participate with it, rates won't go much at all.
Okay.
and what's so ironic is that even though you're in Pearl, Mississippi, the State Farm agents across the country, they still offer the same expertise. So you can always contact
Mhm.
them as well if you're not in your local area.
Yep. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll be here for chat. So if you have any questions about chatting or any of the savings, drop me a comment in the chat and I'll respond.
Thank you.
So do we
All right,
have any
thank-
questions from the audience? And then this is his information as well. You can take a screenshot of that, but Jason did say he would have it in the chat. And if you don't have a question, you can also put it in the chat if you get one later on. So that'd be really great. That segment went really fast, and having a teen, and you have someone that's not a teen anymore, but she's still rather, young.
Mhm.
We could talk about this forever. So
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
love to have you come back on again.
Yes.
When we could just have you on the show and have the teens communicate with you, make it a show where parents can have the teens come
Yes.
on with them, so we can have a dialogue that way. That would be quite interesting.
Yep. I'll be more than happy. One other thing, few seconds. The financial impact of this is actually the savings you're going to make off your policy. You can take that and invest it for your kids' education. So make sure they get good grades, drive safe, and the money you're going to save on your insurance, take it and invest in their college future.
There you go.
Well, good, thank you. Wow, that was really,
Yes.
that was informative. Thank you
Very,
very much,
very.
Jason. We're going to do our Joe Time health tip with Tyrone. And I think this tip was specifically for me.
It was?
And as you see, I have on my readers now, so I think, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I just think that
No,
it is.
actually, it's for you and a couple of dear family and friends that, as you can see, I escaped wearing glasses and contacts. I don't know how. Truthfully, I don't know how. So this health tip is going to be 12 things your eyes are telling you. Okay. So different things that happen in our eyes. A lot of times I would get yellow eyes or something happen and I get scared. So the eyes are not just the window to your soul. They also offer a glimpse into your health. Changes in your eyes can signal vision problems, diabetes, stress, and even retinal detachment. Most of these signs can see, most of these signals you can see yourself. So if you want to know more, just go on a link sometimes. What's this about my eyes? What's that about my eyes? Go to ophthalmologist.
And yes, optometrist and ophthalmologist.
Yes,
And
two
we get to
different
that,
ones.
yeah, two different ones,
Okay.
yes.
So right now, these are some of the little things that happen, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but you might have an infection. You might be stressed out. You may have diabetes. You may have your cholesterol too high. Your blood pressure is too high, and you might have allergies. Like every now and then, Joetta, I just start sneezing and I'm not sure, and my eyes will just turn red. So what I do is I always keep eye drops, or I just go somewhere in a quiet or dark, and and they'll come back to me.
Right.
Okay. Now the next couple of them are, okay. Number 7 would be your retina can be in danger. Okay. When you see little specks around you, like a film. I saw that a couple of times coming out of work in fire. I got a little nervous and scared, but it just went away.
Those are the floaters?
Yes, the floaters.
Yes.
Yeah, the floaters. I was like, what's these little dark spots in front of me? And, they just went away. You need more sleep. You need more sleep. When your eyes are puffy and red, that's a lack of sleep. I've had a lot of days like that. Okay. You're getting
Too much sun. Wow.
too much sun. Like some people they don't wear shades. They don't put things. They don't wear a hat. Outside during the summertime, I wear a lot of hats because the sun really hits my eyes. And then you could have
Jaundice.
And what did you think at some time of your life? You thought you might have it?
Well, this is quite personal for me because my mother had pancreatic cancer, and the jaundice was one sign of her, that
Yes.
happening. So every now and then
You get scared.
I get
Mhm.
nervous. And there's a big difference between having yellow eyes from being tired and having the yellow eyes as the guy does in that picture.
Yeah.
Two different signs. But anyway, I'm going to continue to make sure that I stay on top of my eyes.
And with Joetta and you know, everybody that's special in my life, I always make them get checkups. Her red blood cells are fine. Like a lot of times when you're going to get that type of situation, your red blood cells are being compromised.
Right.
Okay. Number 11, you are spending too much time on the what, Joetta?
Computer.
Too much, staring at it, working on it,
Yes.
looking at it, just working. Too much screen time. The last one, go ahead, Joe.
You are straining your eyes, and that's you get the broken blood vessels, and it may look alarming, but that's could be an indication that you're working too long and overtime. So just push back from the computer. It's okay to stop working and get some rest, because your eyes are the gateway to your soul.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we take care of them. And then this was just the difference between an ophthalmologist and an optometrist. And basically, an ophthalmologist, they are the ones that have a longer years in school. And I'm gonna put my glasses on to see
There
that.
you go. Yes.
And actually, their training includes about 3 or more years
Yes.
of that optometrist and the ophthalmologist. They are medical doctors, and basically they specialize in the eye health and vision care.
In the surgery. Yes.
Yeah, in surgery.
Mhm.
So that's basically the difference. The optometrist does not do the surgery,
Yes.
but they do have a lot of different tests in their offices. So you can go there and they can refer you to an ophthalmologist that will help you with that. And the bottom line is, see the correct vision specialist and general practitioner.
So with that being said, right now, Joe, you look so pretty with your glasses on.
Oh,
So
geez.
every now and then,
I
you
put
have to
'em-
put them on, and
put
you have
'em
to see
on.
that screen, because a lot of you out there don't realize, for us to see, light is shooting into our eyes, it goes to the back of our brain and it comes back out. And that's how we see pictures and things. And in the back of our brain, we have different color sets. So a lot of times people thinking that we're just looking at stuff. No, what our eyes are doing is a part of our brain. It's shooting the eye in there. It's going through the cornea all the way back to the retina and come back out. And that's when we can see what we're seeing.
Right.
So everybody get those eyes checked.
Get your eyes checked, and don't be too proud to wear your glasses, even though they're readers. So thank you for that
You're
Showtime
welcome.
health tip. Awesome. So we're in the next segment, and this will also be really special because we have Julia Farmer from the Children's Hospital of Alabama. She will be our next guest on the show. She will talk about the importance of driving and safety. And I see her 2 little people in the chair.
Yes.
So we have a picture of Julia now. So thank you for being on. We're going to talk about who is at risk, the type of injuries, and the cost of the injuries. So could you give us a little bit of background about you so our audience can know how extraordinary you are?
Sure. You want me to read it?
Oh, well, I can.
Or would you like to?
I can read some of it.
Okay.
She's a pediatric nurse for over 35 years. She's worked in the Health and Education Safety Center at the Children's Hospital of Alabama. That's in Birmingham, Alabama. Her current position is the state chapter director for Think First Alabama, which is a local chapter of Think First National Injuries Preventive Foundation. And her passion is, it is her passion to educate and to allow children to have healthier, happier, and safety childhood. She has over 25 years experience as an injury preventive nurse. And I am very thankful that you have taken time out of your day to be on our show, Be Extraordinary, because you are very extraordinary.
yes.
And you're National Certified Children Passenger Safety Technician Instructor for over 20 years.
Wow.
That is a lot of information, Julia. And she has her phone number, website there. So please feel free to reach her at the end. And she has some Twinkies over there
Oh.
with her 2 little people, one with the seatbelt and I think one without.
One with a booster, and we'll
Oh,
talk about
booster.
that, and one without.
Okay, so Julia, thank you for coming on and being with
Well,
us.
Thank you so much, Joetta. I'm just delighted to be with folks of your caliber who obviously have been, very invested in making a difference. And I have to tell you, Tyrone, as a nurse, I have a special place in my heart for firefighters as well as first responders. So I hope that my Twinkie twins, it's not a fire hydrant, but
Yes.
it is something.
It's a
And,
very nice prop, and thank you.
Yeah.
And by the way, that comment you gave to Tyrone will get you back on the show next time with Jason
I'm
as well.
telling you.
So we have you and Jason back. Might get ready for some comments
know.
so you can get back on the show as well. Okay,
well,
Julia.
thank you. And I also, of course, have to give a shout out to my friend Arlene Lester, who helped from State Farm. I have had State Farm forever. But they have been real instrumental in helping our program. What we are trying to do, I know I'm from a children's hospital, but we really believe that kids need parents as much as parents need their kids to stay safe. So my passion really is about keeping that family together and making sure everybody is healthier and safer on the roads. So
Can you talk to who is at risk?
yes, I'd love to.
Thank you.
Well, Jason did a great segue in for me. A lot of really who's at risk is a lot about behaviors. I don't think it will surprise you to know, especially since he was talking about new drivers.
Yes.
Of course, our new drivers are very likely to be more likely to be in crashes because of inexperience.
Yes.
And so the CDC actually tells us that crash rate per mile driven is about 1.5 times higher for somebody who's 16, even over somebody who's 18 or 19.
Wow.
So within that first year is a really, really a time of learning. Kind of with any new skill, there's a learning curve. And so kids are much more likely to be involved there. Particularly once those kids actually get their license and they're not really supervised.
Yes.
They're kind of out on their own, they're stretching their wings. And so if they have other teenagers in the car, we find that really, really puts them at risk. So a lot of especially in Alabama, but a lot of states have that graduated driver's license laws.
Okay.
That is so that we can, kind of help our kids learn and not give them quite that much freedom as when they're new drivers. So that it puts some stipulations on, when they drive. We don't want them out late at night.
Right.
We don't want too many people in the car because that will help keep them safe.
Yes.
And I think there are the rules too, Julia, that if you are a beginner driver, you can't have people in the car at a certain age, certain time, and you have to have someone that's experienced driver with you. So there are different rules that you have to put in place, and the parents have to know them. Because I know my daughter was trying to tell me something different, even though I'm reading exactly what the rule was. No, mommy, but on Saturdays, in July, it doesn't exist, so they try and get driving and they don't know the importance and safety of everything. So we're like, look, you cannot do it. I'm reading it. There's no such thing as off on Saturdays. The month of July, they don't enforce So you have to be ready for these kids.
Right. I noticed that I think Jason just put in the chat, which is just such a great thing. Really, kids who have driver's ed really do better. It's a really important skill, and we actually, through our support from State Farm, we're actually able to take a program into the driver's ed classes. And not only talk to them about the mechanics, which is what they're getting in the class, but we talk to them kind of about real life. We talk to them kind of what happens if you're in a crash and you end up in the trauma room, or, we have a trooper sometimes who comes and talks to them about the importance of being respectful and the best behavior if you're pulled over, those kinds of things. I have a question for you. Who do you think is a better driver, males or females?
Males.
Females.
Okay, there you go. Well, if we're looking at statistics, if we're looking at who has been involved in crashes, I'm happy to say you're kind of both right. So When they're younger, teens that are like 16 to 19,
Yes.
males happen to be the folks who are more likely to be involved in crashes. And we think part of that is probably because they are a little more likely
Yeah,
to be involved in risky behavior.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Especially if there are other males in the car. Now, that may be a little testosterone, something going on there, but I don't know. But
Yes.
but then we shift back when women kind of have a little higher, like 25% higher crash statistics when they're between like 21 and 30. So it really kind of, so I always get asked that questions, but when I have my teen audience, I always kind of say males are a little more likely to be involved in crashes, but
And you
throughout
know
our lifespan,
But you know why too?
the takeaway message is we're all at risk.
Because
What?
you know why? Everything with a man has to be in a sport. I gotta race a car. I gotta drive a big truck. I gotta get on a fire truck and zip down the street. Everything for us is getting there.
Fast, right, fast.
You know, and I
Right.
should tell Joetta that all the time. I'm used to driving a really big fire truck with 1,000 gallons of water, going to the light, knowing that I gotta slow down just a little bit, but knowing that somebody might be, dying in a fire around the corner. So in my
Right.
mind, I'm going, I'm safe, but I gotta keep it moving.
And I don't know if
Right.
this to be true, but I'm going to say this. I think that the women are at that age have children now. So we're looking back,
Oh,
making sure
yeah.
they're strapped in the back, looking in the rear. And unfortunately, it takes our mind off of the road for a second.
Yeah,
But I can definitely say I've been guilty of driving and looking back. And even though I had the mirror that I could see, I still will turn back. So I think that could be a reason. I don't know. I don't have any stats on that. That's just common sense, I would think.
Right.
So you
I
have
have a 13-year-old and yes,
Oh.
I'm definitely talking to her frequently. If she's listening, it's always good conversation, honey, but sometimes I have to tend to the road.
now, Julia, you have two of your Twinkie twins there.
Yes.
And if you don't mind speaking to that, because we have Cameron Mack who will come up next, and she happens to be a teen driver who had a head-on collision. So we'd like to have her engaged in the conversation as well. So could you
Sure.
speak to that, and then Cameron will come on?
Sure, absolutely. So these are actually boosters, because what we have found really is that parents are really good at restraining their kids when they're really little, like when they're toddlers and when they're infants, because we think of them as very vulnerable. When kids get off to about 4 to 8, what we find is that they're starting carpool. And kids want to be big kids, and they, want to grow up. And parents don't really understand that at that age, the kids really don't fit in the lap and the shoulder belt well enough.
Okay.
So I take this, and it's actually a kind of a fun thing, even for the teens. So I talked to the teens about this because a Twinkie, what's a Twinkie like? Well, a Twinkie is very much like our body. In the inside of the Twinkie, you have cream, okay?
Mhm.
When it's in that nice package, if you're to squeeze that Twinkie, really what happens to all that cream? It starts to get dispersed out.
Yes.
And so if you graduate to that seatbelt too quickly, what happens is that seatbelt usually rides up on your soft belly, and it's not on the hard bones of your pelvis.
Yeah.
And so you can get, it's called seatbelt syndrome, but essentially what it does is squishes all your, compresses all of your soft organs, and you can have a terrible bleed. And Tyrone, you might have had experience as a first responder when you go and you talk to a kid and say, "Are you okay?" And he says, "I think I'm fine. But my tummy really hurts."
Yes.
And the next thing you know, it isn't good.
Yeah.
So if kids, before they fit into that seatbelt, if they would graduate to a booster that will fit them better, then they can be safer.
Well, thank you very much for the explanation. And we're going to have you put your information in the chat. And the next face that we're going to have grace the stage is Cameron Mack. And Cameron, was in a head-on collision. So Ms. Lester thought your story would be worth sharing with the audience. So
Oh,
Kevin,
absolutely.
welcome to the stage, and if you can be so kind as to, we're gonna ask you to unmute yourself so you can be part of the conversation. Thank you. Welcome to the
Hi.
show. Could you
Thank
give us a little background about your car accident, and how State Farm was there for you and your parents as well?
Okay, so I was in 3 car accidents. But I'll just start with the head-on collision.
Yes.
So it was around 1 o'clock in the morning, I believe. And me and my little cousin, we were coming back from getting tattoos, and we were on Route 20. And I was driving on the northbound side, and the car that hit me was driving southbound, but on the northbound side.
Okay.
Wow.
So there was a car in front of me, and the car in front of me saw the car coming towards us before I could. So I didn't have enough time to react, to try and like get over and like get out the way. So all honestly that I can remember from it was seeing headlights, and then I heard the boom, and then I wasn't moving anywhere. My car was still on, but like my tires were like down the road, like a couple of feet
Wow.
behind my car. The car that hit me had hit the guardrail behind me, but he was like maybe 20 feet away from my car. But I had rims that came off my car, tires, all of my airbags deployed. I hit my head on the windshield. So there were 2 cracks in the windshield from the contact of it. And I had to climb out from the passenger side in order to
Let me stop you, because you said the windshield was cracked. You didn't suffer any lacerations or any stitches or any internal bleeding or anything? That sounds like a really serious accident. It seems as though you were able to climb out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the accident, I didn't have any scratches on me, other than, a couple of bruises, from the impact. But as far as any serious medical conditions, I did not have any of those.
Wow.
How did you contact your State Farm agent? Was that someone you contacted when the accident happened, or do you remember?
So after the accident, I was kind of in like a daze.
Yes.
So I was like, and I'm young, like I've never been in an accident before. That was my first accident. So I'm like, what do I do? Who am I supposed to call? So a whole lot of things were going through my head. But I had my little cousin with me, and she was like, she got off the car, and I was like, all right, we got to calm down. We got to think, like, what do we need to do?
Yes.
So the first person that I called was my mother.
Okay.
She answered it. And I was like, Mom, like, I just got in an accident. I don't know what to do. She's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm on Route 20. She's like, yeah, I know, but like, where exactly are you? And it was just a lot of, I guess, like anxiety and, a lot of things just going on that I wasn't used to, that I've never experienced before.
Okay.
But after the fact, we did talk to our agent, and they handled the business, how on their side what to do.
And that's important. I think that Jason spoke to this before, that when you get in an accident, you don't know what to do. And especially even if you did practice it, you're all nervous. You don't know what steps to follow. So the bottom line is that you were able to leave with no injuries. Because I know as being a fire and a first responder, you saw something like that, you expect to see something real serious. So we want to thank you for sharing that story, Cameron, and sharing the fact that State Farm was there to help you through. We can't go over all 3 of your accidents, but please be safe, be careful. And it's a blessing that you did not get any serious of injuries. Thank you
so much.
The next person we have on here will be Mike. Mike Reese is the next guest that we have on the show, and he is down in Alabama as well. He has a plethora of accolades. He was a lieutenant down there. He was part of the Alabama Alcohol and Beverage Control, and he also has a program called Operation Safe Teens. So thank you, Mike, for coming.
Put this slide up and let me see what else.
Let me be here. It's an honor. Thank you.
Yes, let's see what you have for us. Do you want to give us a little bit more background if you don't have a slide that you want to share with us?
Can I do a slide at the very end just for a few minutes?
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can do
That's all right. But I can tell you, I've been in law enforcement for about 38 years. 10 years ago, I retired from the state, but went right back to work the next day doing programs. We started a program 20 years ago called Operation Save Teens, and it started as a one-time program, and then from the success of that, going into the schools, we're in our 20th year now, and we basically talk about everything that kids are facing, from distracted driving to drug, alcohol issues. Right now, the social media issue is huge, and that's a huge issue when it comes to the distracted driving, because cell phones 20 years ago was really looked like out of combat. They were about 3 feet long and all.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got one. Fourth graders, kids have cell phones. So, but we do school programs, and we're very proud of it. We've been around a long time, and it's been successful in that we're able to get in, and we know we're not reaching every kid, but you always hear this all the time. If you could just reach one, it'd be worth it.
So what do you think a good parent-teen relationship would be when you're dealing with the alcohol, tobacco, and driving?
Right. The first thing that comes to mind when you talk about those issues is kids have to have a relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the truth, my kids did not have a relationship with me, but they did with my wife. Now they loved me and they trusted me, but my wife was the one that was a sounding board. And as long as a kid has that ability to go to a parent and talk to them about issues, I was being in law enforcement. I was heavy-handed, and I knew what could happen to them, and I wanted my kids to be safe. And my wife was a person that was very easy. She's a great listener and all. So the first thing is talk to your kids, and reiterate. One of the things that Mr. Quinn brought up, he was talking about talking to your kids and all. You may not think they're listening, but they're listening. I mean, whether you believe it or not, we know that if you go over and over and over again, kids are listening and they finally get it, and it helps, and the same way in the schools. When we go to schools, we show them very graphic. It's age appropriate, but
Right.
on the age group, because they're seeing these things on social media. So we reiterate with videos, with actual true life stories and all, and we know we've been successful because we go back to the same schools every year or every other year. They want us back. So we're very proud.
And you should be proud when you're working with teens and kids and helping them to be safer with drugs, driving, alcohol, all of that. And it's so sad, but it's true. A lot of times teens think that they are invincible and that it won't happen to them. So can you speak to that point?
Oh, that probably more than any. When we go to schools and kids are 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and they really think they don't know. They live in a world now, and a lot of it because of social media issues and all. They think we've actually had kids come up to us after programs and say, "We don't get it. You don't get it. YOLO." And I said, "Excuse me," and they said, "Well, you only live once." And I don't want to look back and say I missed out on anything. And then this is my response to that, and it was that day. You're silly. If you really think that your life is your life and your body and your way, your body and it doesn't belong to just you. It belongs to God. It belongs to your parents and your friends that love you. We try during our presentations, our main focus is trying to get kids to know or to believe how important they are. To somebody, they are the most important thing. And if something happened to them, somebody's life would never, ever be the same. And through the years, we work with a lot of parents that have lost kids. And it's always the same thing. These people are so brave that to get up and talk about their kids and what happened and how the very best moments of their life, whether it be from a car wreck or from a drug overdose or alcohol related, their lives will never be the same.
No,
And we had to focus on that.
yeah. So that's tough.
No, the programs that you did when you were in schools.
Yeah, a lot of different programs that I did the same because I'm starting to drive. When we used to get a lot of guys and girls come on the fire department at 18 because 18 or 35 is the window. So 18 years old, you just got your license at 17 and you probably drove a little car. So when they come on the fire department, and the first thing they got to do is step on this big rig. I mean, y'all see the fire trucks, they're so big and they have the ladder trucks, it's nothing but steel. You got steel going down the highway. Now the engine is nothing but water. So what we would do, we would always take them to a park or open field and put cones down. And, sometimes they would be so scared where they keep their hands on the wheel. They won't, they won't turn, they won't do anything because they're just so nervous. But it took a long time for me to just let them know that, listen, the only thing that we need you to do is called driver training, and we're going to go through 6 months before you even go to a working fight. And a lot of times we only let them drive if it was on a Sunday. We had a nice little run, so they got used to it. So a lot of things that I did, what I was telling Joetta, teaching my daughter, teaching my track team, they always wanted me to be the driving instructor. Back then, I got a little car and I would make them feel comfortable, put them on the right angles and, nothing on their head and no caps, no nothing, and listen to me. Mm-hmm. And when I say stop, slow down, right? Because sometimes I would tell them the first time, are we going to go to the corner? And it's on a Sunday. And as soon as I say corner, they go straight through the stop sign. They roll through. And I said, no. That stop sign means you got to stop way behind it so you can still see the stop sign. So a lot of things that you guys have been doing, thank you so much for showing these kids that if you're safe in the beginning, you're going to be safe in the end.
And for parents to have the opportunity to be part of your operations teams program, and also to get information from Julia at the Children's Hospital of Alabama, and then also Jason, that's amazing. And we have another young lady that's on the show.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to come back to you,
Yes,
Mike, but we're going to go to Morgan James right now. So Morgan James experienced a head-on collision.
That's Mike's Operation Save Teams.
Yes, and Mike, thank you very much. We have your logo up there as well. And if you put your contact information in the chat, I am sure people would like to contact you to find out about your program. And I'm sure there could be a pilot program that you could speak to people in other states. But Morgan, right now, I see you on, and we'd like to welcome you to the show, Be Extraordinary Show. Where are you located, Morgan?
I'm in Patterson, New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey, okay. Well, look, we want to hear your story about your collision and the fact that you're still here. That's a blessing as well.
Right. So me and my cousin Cameron, the one that was on earlier, we were coming home from getting tattoos. It was about 1 a.m.
Yes.
I was the passenger in the front seat. I happened to be asleep actually.
Oh, wow.
When the whole accident happened. So I woke up and all I saw was an airbag in my face, and I went into a panic. Mm-hmm. And I started screaming because I imagine hearing a loud bang and you're asleep. Yes. And I'm like, what do we do? And Cameron's like, get out the car, get out the car. And the car actually started like smoking. So I'm like, the car is about to blow up. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like she said, I was still in a shock. I couldn't really process what to do. So I'm like, what do we do? And she's like, call 911, call 911. Now we called 911. She called her mom. I called my mom and she was actually asleep. So it was hard to get in contact with my family. I ended up getting to them, but we ended up going to the hospital. They checked us. We went on the ambulance. No severe injuries, nothing lifelong. I did hit my head on the windshield and I just had like a concussion.
Okay. Seatbelt on, right?
Yeah, I had my seatbelt on.
Yes, that's very important.
And has that left any scars with you moving forward when you're driving now? Or?
So I actually take driver's ed now. Hopefully I get my permit next month. Okay. It took a mental toll on me because I was very scared to be in cars now because of what happened. So it was hard for me to get in cars. I I just wanted to start driving. I was like, I'm never driving. So it took a big mental toll on me being
Wow.
scared to drive.
And Mike, because she's going to get her license, can you speak to the fact that she was afraid, the mental toll, and kind of prepare her for the next stages in her life as a driver, having had the accident?
Well, the one thing that I can say, being in an accident, because I've been in several and all, it's a very traumatic thing. And even at my age, you know, there are times
Yeah.
that it still comes back. I think about, I had a bad wreck when it was raining. So the thing that I tell you is, you know, use common sense, and a lot of times people probably need to see some therapy and all when it's related, if it's a very traumatic incident and all, because it's a hard thing to get over, and people think that accidents are so commonplace, it's not a big deal. But we all know that's not true. So it is a big deal. So I'm glad that you and your cousin both were all right. And thank God for that, you know, that both of y'all made it through it.
And I tell you, Cameron and Morgan, that's a terrible phone call to get at 1 o'clock in the morning at any time, especially when you see your kid's number on there. So I know your parents were probably wondering what happened. And we always say no news is good news, but sometimes it doesn't always work like that. So thank you for sharing that story. We're at a point.
Thank you.
Oh, we're at a point now where we just want to, what'd you say, Morgan? I'm sorry.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and good luck on your test, and stay calm.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And what we want to do is do a wrap up. And so we're going to just go backwards. Mike, you have a slide that's going to show, and then we're going to go to Julia and end up with Jason. So did you want to show us something, Mike?
Yes,
Thank you.
if it'll come up.
It will.
And I hope that came up where everybody can see it.
Operation Save Teams.
Yes, and the
Okay,
website.
very good. Okay, thank you.
But please make sure you visit the website. He's doing great things down in Alabama. So I'm sure that we can do something in your local areas as well. And Julia, thank you for your work, over 25 years of work
Yes.
with the Children's Hospital of Alabama. And your Twinkie twins, thank you for sharing that information as well. And I'm sure you put information up in the chat. Do you have a closing remark, Julia?
You know, just that I thank you again for letting us be part of this. And I think it's, you know, every life that we can save is great, because it's somebody's mother, father,
Yes.
brother, sister. You know, we're all interconnected, and it makes a difference to the community as well. So thanks again for letting me be here.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing your Twinkie twins with us. And that was a really great explanation. So I'm sure people will be mindful of the booster seats as we move forward. And Jason, you gave us a plethora of information early on. So if you would go over just a review, quick review, and a takeaway that you want the audience to have. Wait a minute. Jason, I know you're saying some good stuff.
Okay,
There you go.
I got it. Yeah, I said as an investment advisor, money manager, and a risk manager, always prepare your teams, because it could be costly. The thing is, you have to have the right insurance, the right liability insurance to protect your wealth. A lot of folks understand you're protecting your wealth, but whenever the kid drives out there in that vehicle, they have all the belongings, all your wealth strapped to that hood, and you can lose it overnight. They hit somebody, kill somebody, that person's going to sue you. If they injure somebody else's child, they're going to sue you, and that could follow you for a long time. You know, you may say, well, I don't have any money. Well, they're going to garnish your wages, 25% of your wages. You have to understand you're protecting your wealth, and that wealth, you have to retain it and don't give it away.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to having you again on our show.
Yes.
Anytime.
Okay.
All of you gave great information, and we just want you to know that, like the neighbor, State Farm is there. As we said earlier, State Farm and Be Extraordinary podcast is perfect together. And this is like their 100th year.
Yeah.
And before we go there, that's about 100 years of work there. You have your brother,
32
Captain.
and 30 and 25. Yeah, close.
Well, that's a bunch, right? That's a bunch of years there. So that's the Johnson brothers. This is Fire Protection Month. So thank you for sharing that. And it's been over 100 years now 100th anniversary here.
Yes.
So State Farm, they're there to help life go right. So thank you, Arlene Lester, for putting this all together with your great guest that you gave us. And as always, this is October Breast Awareness Month. We have
Breast
on our
Cancer
pink.
Awareness Month, yes.
We have on our pink, but it's important that you make sure that you schedule your checkups, mammograms, and conduct self-examinations. As
Yes.
we said last week, it's not only for women, it's for
Men also.
men. You had a cousin that was a famous cousin that
Yeah, mhm.
male cousin
Yes.
that had breast
Had
cancer.
breast cancer.
Breast cancer. And again, as always, if you want to be on the show, if you want to become a sponsor, please contact us at joetimefitness@gmail.com. And guess what? If you missed this show, you go to Joe Time Fitness on YouTube and you see all the other shows up there. Yeah, something you want to say. I know you have a check-in, you always have a
No.
closing.
The closing, well, it was a phenomenal show. Thank you, Joetta.
Yeah,
A
thank
lot
you.
of good information.
Teamwork makes the dream work. We had a great team. We had some
Yes.
youngsters, and then we had people that were specialists in their fields.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had us as the host of the show. And next week will be week 4, and that will be the final week for State Farm. And we will talk about State Farm in the community. We have 4 guests, so please make sure you tune in next week to be part of the show. And as I always say, it doesn't matter what road you take, but what you become along the journey. Thank you for taking this journey along with us this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Have a good night.